I do want to show you a live look of Florida right now, several places across the state as it is starting to be sunset. Beautiful looks, skies out there over St. Petersburg, Florida, as well as Palmetto, Florida, Sarasota and Hudson as well. I mean, this is a far cry from what we saw earlier this week when Hurricane Milton made landfall near in Sarasota County as a Category 3 storm. So again, with those storms comes a lot of recovery on the backside. And so now want to bring into the conversation the Red Cross. This is Grace Meinhofer. She is a national correspondent, I should say spokesperson there with the Red Cross, giving us the very latest. Grace, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now. Again, we know how important it is for Floridians to start that recovery process. What can you tell us about what the Red Cross is doing to sort of get people back on their feet?
Thank you, Christina. I mean, thousands of people spend the night at a Red Cross facility, at an evacuation center. These centers partner with state officials to provide refuge and make sure that the people have food and they have water and they have a very safe place to stay. This afternoon, I visited one of these facilities north of Tampa, and you can see that the people were still happy. We had volunteers that were really happy to be serving. They were in high spirits. There were children. Children were playing outside. There were some dogs that we played with. So they are in high spirits, but we really don't know what that long-term recovery is going to look like. There's so much destruction, as you can see, 2 back-to-back hurricanes. I mean, it's been really tough for this community. But what I can say is that the Red Cross is there providing support. Also, we have dozens of emergency response vehicles that are on the ground distributing water and meals, cleaning supplies, hygiene products that are so important now that we need to make sure that people are clean, the areas are clean and safe for them to get back home. So it's going to be a long process, but today was a great experience because I can see that there is still hope in the people that have been affected, and there's still a very high service for our volunteers to be serving the community.
And Grace, I do like the fact that you just pointed out these 2 hurricanes, Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, hit within 2 weeks of one another. So can you sort of talk about the difference in response, or maybe it's the exact same from the Red Cross after 2 massive storms strike the same area over such a short period of time?
Yeah, the Red Cross is responding in 5 different states for these 2 back-to-back hurricanes. I mean, climate crisis have shown us that the disasters are stronger. They're back-to-back, as we've seen in the last 2 weeks. And yeah, the response is different. I mean, in some areas, you're going to see Red Cross vehicles out. In some areas, we're still providing shelter. And then, you know, there's a lot of backstage work that happens with disaster mental health workers, our counselors, making sure that the communities have what they need for their path to recovery. Sometimes those are services that the Red Cross provides. Sometimes those are services that the Red Cross provides with partners. What we want to assure the people is that we will be here for as much as we need it. There are weeks to come, just because we are responding to Hurricane Helene in the Carolinas. Doesn't mean we're going to stop providing the support that the Floridians need for Hurricane Milton. We have over 2,000 volunteers that are responding to the multiple disasters in these 5 states. We are really happy to be here. We have more people that are on the way because we know that the recovery process is going to look very different to all of them, but we want them to rely on us. And, you know, we could not do the mission of the Red Cross if it wasn't for the volunteers that are on the ground. Those 2,000 volunteers are coming everywhere from Alaska, Puerto Rico, Guam, everywhere in the U.S. So I do a call for people who are at home. If you would like to be part of the mission, visit redcross.org, become a volunteer, join us. Local chapters are currently providing disaster deployment training. They're teaching people what it is that you do in a disaster like this. And also for those who are outside of the affected areas, a blood donation is very, very important at this time. We want to make sure that we have the supply that we need to provide the areas that are most hit. So please make an appointment to donate blood as well.
I do want to go a little bit further in on that point, 2 points that you made. You said the Red Cross right now is providing immediate need in the case of like hygiene products. Folks have to remember, again, there's not a lot of power in certain areas. Things have been devastated over time. Can you talk to how important it is just to give people back that sense of dignity, as well as you just made that call out for blood donations, how important that is as well as the recovery process continues?
Yeah, this is the worst time for most of these people. I mean, we're talking about adults, children, pets. This is really stressful for all of them. And so what we want to make sure and ensure is that our volunteers, our teams are here to provide that comfort and support. And, going back to what shelters are going to look like in the next coming days is not just going to be for people who want to spend the night or need to spend the night at a shelter because they can't go back home. We're talking about people who have no water, perhaps they have no electricity at home. They are welcome at Red Cross facilities because they can come in and charge their phones. They can have a hot meal. They can talk to a caseworker and see what their recovery is going to look like. Can we connect them with an organization on the ground that can help them provide other services that perhaps the Red Cross at this time is not going to be providing just because we're providing a very specific set of support. So I think that everybody is welcome in our shelters. They're open. They're going to be open for the days to come. Download the American Red Cross app. It's called the Emergency app. We have a list of shelters, but also we have step-to-step guides of what to do during times of disaster, coping tips, how to clean your home, and all of those good tips that are very useful for the Floridians and those in the Carolinas, Georgia, and Tennessee.
And before I let you to go, Grace, you did mention that you're now responding all over the Southeast, into Georgia, North Carolina, Florida as well, Tennessee, these areas hardest hit. Again, with those resources, it's from donors who are at home and able to open their pockets that you guys are able to have the large response that you do.
That is correct. Thanks to the generosity of the donors. And we're able to fulfill the mission of the Red Cross. So if you feel it in your heart to join the operation and be supportive and give something to the people here in Florida or any of the other 4 states that we talked about, visit redcross.org to make a financial donation. You can also call 1-800-RED-CROSS and also do a donation there and also on your website.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Again, this is Grace with the Red Cross, giving us the very latest updates there in Florida as they are continuing to recover from Hurricane Milton and Helene. But you see the Red Cross's response goes so much further. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.